in Romania is not very different than being in Turkey for us because our cultures are very close to each other. We have many similarities. I recommend people, companies to do a market analysis in a very detailed way, not just Googling. You need to go deep inside to understand the dynamics of the market and the macro context of the country as well.
Hello and welcome to the Expert Hour, the podcast that brings together thought leaders, innovators and changemakers from the world of business, proudly presented by Bucharest Business School. I'm your host, Maria, and today we're diving into the exciting world of corporate learning and leadership transformation. Our guest today is Dilek Saydan, entrepreneur, strategic advisor, and proud BBS alumna. After a dynamic career in the corporate world, Dilek transitioned from intrapreneur to entrepreneur, founding DB Academy, Romania's one of the first B2B training marketplaces. She is also involved in strategic consultancy and leads a social entrepreneurship initiative focused on community empowerment and inclusion. In this episode, we'll dive into her inspiring journey, the evolution of corporate learning, and how women and multicultural leadership are shaping the future of business. Dilek, welcome to the Expert Hour. We're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation, Maria.
Dilek, I invite you to start our discussion with a brief introduction of yourself.
I'm Dilek, and I'm a strategy and business transformation professional for almost 20 years. Experience across various industries and countries. And as you summarized very well, I'm a founder partner of DB Academy, which is a marketplace, a training marketplace in Romania, and one of the first marketplaces in this area. And also I'm founder president of an NGO, an association, which aims to support Turkish community here, but particularly women, to get integrated to Romania, and we are supporting this process of their integration. And at the same time, I have the role of advisory board member of a tech company expanding their operations to Romania and to the region. This is the professional side. On the personal side, I'm a proud mom and happily living in Romania with my family for almost 10 years. And I hold two citizenship, French and Turkish, so I'm connected with many communities here.
What does a learning marketplace mean?
So learning marketplace, it means that, let me start with what is marketplace. Maybe it is better to start with. I think it's not a new term for us. When you look at the ancient times, you remember the marketplaces also in those eras. So when you create a training marketplace, somehow you bring the sellers and the buyers together, and you create the value by making them integrated and communicated with each other. So the value proposition of a marketplace is coming from the interaction from the buyers and the sellers. I can summarize it in this way. And how we adapted this to our business model. In fact, it is not a new business model in the world. We have examples like Udemy, Coursera. So we are bringing some partners to the platform, which have good content. And also we are trying to bring buyers to the marketplace in order to have them access to these courses. But our platform is a little bit beyond the marketplace. Maybe I will explain you later.
How you formed yourself as a leader and how was the transition towards entrepreneurship?
I started as industrial engineer. And this evolved over the years in different sectors, in different markets. from manufacturing to retail, from tourism to training sector. So I had the opportunity to work for different industries, which fed me, let's say, in a very good way from professional point of view. And I took roles in quality management, lean management, strategy, risk, business transformation in corporate life. So, and I had the opportunity to lead multinational teams, created shared service centers and processes, and I led strategic initiatives in those corporate environment, which had a bottom line effect for the companies. So after having all these experience, after I moved to Romania, I felt that it is the right time to use my know-how for my own project. That is how I started from entrepreneurship to entrepreneurship journey. But I might say that it's not a professional decision only. It was also a personal decision because it was just after the pandemic period, and like many of us, it was a period that I questioned life, and I said, if I don't do it now, but when? So that is how I shifted from corporate life to entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship for me, it was not only the business side, also, as I mentioned, also social entrepreneurship started at that point.
Many times, entrepreneurship is not just a professional decision, like you said.
Yes.
If you don't go with your heart fully on this journey, it's very hard to succeed. How did you choose Romania?
It was a natural process for me because, in fact, I came here because my husband started to work here, and it was a mutual decision. Altogether, we decided to move to Romania. First, he came, and after I come, and we started as expats here. So I was also working in corporate world with him. But after having 6 years, I shifted to entrepreneurship. But this decision, it was, as I said, natural decision because in the previous part of the life, also we had this expat life. And Romania, we plan to have another destination after Romania, but we liked Romania that much that we decided to stay here. So normally I came here for only 2 years, but it's 10 years already.
Wow, that is something. Do you think that you encountered more challenges as an expat in opening a business in Romania?
Of course, it was a challenging process. I had challenges, like any entrepreneurs experienced. But on top of it, of course, I tried to be an entrepreneur in a country where I'm foreigner at the end. The first challenge I had, I think it was the mindset change from corporate life to entrepreneurship life, because you have a very busy life there, and there's a flow in corporate life, and you feel yourself valuable and always keeping yourself busy. But when you shift to entrepreneurship, you start with completely blank canvas, and you are the only person. And during this, until you create a real value, you have to keep yourself always motivated. I think this is the most challenging part. And somehow I anticipated this period. That is why, as I said, when I started this project, at the same time, I initiated this social entrepreneurship part. So I created the association with my friends, and it grew very fast. Now we have 400 members doing many projects. Maybe I will tell you later. But also at the same time, I started executive MBA program. So for me, it was challenge because I didn't know about how Romanians work. Yes, I of course worked in a corporate environment in Romania, but if you are in a company, you are under the influence of that culture, company culture. When you are alone in the market by yourself, it's another everything. That is why I started also executive MBA to understand a little bit how Romanians work. How can I create value by collaborating with them? So this was the, let's say, plan for me. I kept myself, let's say, socially grounded by uh, having this association on the social side, intellectually connected, and feeling myself. I'm developing myself, so I wanted to keep this feeling with executive MBA and continue to my entrepreneurship project. If I was in Turkey, for example, for this journey, maybe I wouldn't start an MBA program or this social initiative. It was for me a project as a whole.
Seems like the managerial experience you previously had went on the paper for your personal project as well. How did you choose the industry for your first entrepreneurship endeavor?
Training industry, if I define it as training industry, in fact, training was always at the heart of what I did in my professional life. From the beginning, when I was in quality management roles, for example, at the beginning of my career, I had also the role of training people, giving consultancy, and it followed me throughout the journey. So that is why even when I was a child, I was playing teacher. So I have this feeling of sharing my knowledge with the others to try to help others. So that is why training, I think, happened naturally. But if you define it like digital training platform, just before quitting my job, I did a very similar platform inside the company, inside corporate company, and I saw that it worked. So during the pandemic period, since we couldn't deliver, you remember those periods, so we couldn't deliver face-to-face trainings, and I was managing the department responsible for our suppliers and dealers training and consultancy. And we couldn't deliver face-to-face services. That is why somehow we said that we have to adapt, and we created a platform, digital platform there, and it was a success story. I really liked the mindset. At that point, I had the opportunity to also explore and learn about platform business models. And I said that I can do it by myself also, by, of course, changing a little bit the context. That is how I felt the leverage to enter into this industry.
So you had your MVP uh,
Yep.
and then adapt it to your target. What is, by the way, your target market now? So
Uh,
just
Now it is a B2B platform. In fact, it's a B2BC platform, but strategically I'm targeting businesses and SMEs especially. So independent from the industry, small and medium-sized enterprises can be our clients, because in our marketplace, in our platform, let's say, you don't only access to available trainings. You can do many things. If you have some internal trainings, if you want to share with your employees, you can upload your trainings there and share. And I don't think that also learning process, like many processes in the companies, it's not a linear process. It should be like a cycle, PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act cycle. So it has to be managed. How to manage this process? By monitoring the results. So in our platform, when you have any kinds of training, either the ones available in the platform or the ones you created, once you share or sell with the other to the others, you can monitor the results. You can create journeys so that you can monitor the performance and take some actions accordingly. So that is why for SMEs who do not have structured ERP systems, learning management systems, I think our platform is quite suitable. Even I know some companies still managing their learning processes with Excel sheets. collecting the needs of the employees by writing, listing it in Excel documents. So it is, let's say, it is a step, but it is not sustainable, especially in this, let's say, time of the, let's say, doing business.
Initially, I thought you were gonna say that you target enterprises because they usually are more focused on automating this part. But you touched some key pain points from organizations regarding growing their people, because it all ends up into one hour presentation, and then there are no follow-ups. So we were talking about your target market and how your company is addressing the pain points of many companies. How do we grow leaders?
It is a little bit complicated, I think. Why it's complicated? Because I do believe that we have to admit that not everybody is a leader. I'm against of using this leader attribute too much in order not to dilute the meaning, you know. That is why, first of all, we have to have the mechanisms to identify the potential. Once we identify the potential, I think as also leaders in the society, in business environment, it doesn't matter. The first thing is to give responsibility to these leaders, to give titles, responsibilities, and keep them accountable for all their activities there. But of course, the story doesn't, let's say, stop there, because while doing so, we have to create the very well structured feedback mechanism and mentoring at the bottom. So you need to monitor how this future leader is growing and give feedback continuously, but to give that person an area to take his or her own decisions. I think this is the key point. But after that, of course, there are many factors, even which part of the country you are, which industry you are. All these external factors are affecting that leader's growth potential. But at the end, if I, let's say, summarize it like one-to-one support of those leaders, I can say that this is my approach.
And how would you describe yourself as a leader?
I do believe in setting an example. I never ask my team to do something that I wouldn't do. So first of all, I work hard. First of all, I feel motivated about what we are targeting, and I show how to do it. And I expect then the others to follow and even grow more than what I'm doing. So I think being an example is the, let's say, is the first step. The second part, I think it's coming with the experience in the multinational environment. And this is about respect. I do really believe in respecting people, because I worked with many, let's say, people from different cultures. When you accept at the beginning that we have differences, we have cultural differences, we are coming from different backgrounds, and it affects how we work together, how we communicate, and even it can affect the results of that, let's say, team or mechanism that you are in. If you accept this, you are starting the story with an empathy. But here I'm trying to keep a balance. This is how I, let's say, define myself also, my position also. I'm trying to keep myself close enough to the people in order to understand their challenges. And of course, to understand challenges and to support, to be able to support. At the same time, I'm trying to keep a healthy distance with people. And at that point, I'm trying to use methodologies, tools, frameworks in order to manage the teams. So here, another, let's say, factor comes for me. I don't think that leadership is only about soft skills. Also, I do believe that it's coming with knowing the methodologies and tools that you need to use to manage the teams, and it gives you an objective base in order to communicate. When you have a tool, when you have a methodology on the table, in this case you are transparent, and in this case everybody is aligned with the methodology, and you have less conflict. This is how I try to keep balance and define, let's say, my philosophy.
What's your preferred tool for this?
It's very complicated again, because in management there are many tools, of course. For example, think about strategic planning. I know that since I'm practicing it very actively, I can give example on that side, and I think it is my favorite. I can say that. How can you do a strategic planning? There are many ways, but for example, I use balanced scorecard methodology very, let's say, frequently. I also recommend companies to approach new markets. It doesn't matter, new country, new industry, it doesn't matter, to start with a macro analysis, for example, by doing pastel analysis, and after focusing on the market by doing porter analysis, and after you focusing on the priorities on the financial side, and of course evaluating very well the customer value proposition. So there is a methodology there. I have been involved in many discussions in strategic planning. Executives are discussing about their priorities. When you don't have a methodology or a tool, you feel lost. At the end, the CEO or the owner of the company says something and everybody has to accept it. It shouldn't be like this. The methodologies and tools give the base to also include everybody in the team.
The strategic planning, did you apply it for
Of course.
DB Academy from day one?
Yes, of course. And what is interesting also for me, as I said, I started the executive MBA program parallel to my entrepreneurship project. And you know that we had some courses there, and we had some projects there. Each time when we need to start create a project, I used my project. And for example, if you ask me, Dilek, do you have a strategy planning? I say yes, because I did it also in the course, Now with Kamal, for example, I created, it was my project. If you ask me, Dilek, do you have a structured IT risk management, let's say, document? I'll say yes, because I did it also in the course. So I behaved also to executive MBA program in a way that I get prepared for this. I knew some of these tools before because I'm industrial engineer, I'm working in this area, but I took the opportunity. I can admit that.
It's very nice. I did the same in BBS, and I confirm that it's really rewarding to see the feedback from the others. Regarding your BBS experience, what was the most important thing you learned here and you did not knew before?
We had a course where we discussed a lot about the complex problems in the world, the complex problems defined by United Nations, where not only the governments, but also the NGOs, but also the private sector should involve in order to solve the problems. In fact, it gave me another perspective. Apart from all the theoretical things that we learned during the journey, it stayed in my mind because after that course, I felt the real responsibility of nature, of the world that we are living in. So we are leaders, we are managers, we are taking responsibilities mostly in private sector, me for also in the social side. But we need to always keep in mind that the sustainability issue, for example, the supporting the others, the social side is very important. And If we don't do this, I don't think that the systems now we are in will be sustainable anymore from financial point of view, also from political point of view, from economical point of view, neither macro or nor in micro context. That is why I do really believe that we have to be very responsible of our actions. I know that there are many companies, for example, doing greenwashing, taking some actions just to say that we are supporting the sustainability actions, but at the end they are not really taking actions. So as future leaders, we have to be aware of our responsibilities. This is what remained in my mind, and even I mentioned it when I was doing my speech after the MBA program, since I graduated as valedictorian. In that speech also I underlined this. I said, okay, we learned a lot of things, but we have to be responsible of our actions. This is what I will always keep in mind.
And do you think this sustainability is at hand for the organizations, even though they are smaller, like SMEs?
Sustainability subject, it's a very big umbrella. If we are talking about protecting environment, for example, or avoiding child labor, there are many subjects behind. It doesn't matter if you are a small company, if you're a medium company, or if you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. You can choose who to work with, for example. If you believe that you will have a client, for example. If that client is not responsible and having some actions that you don't support in values, I think we shouldn't work. So everything starts with human. It doesn't matter the scale. Of course, scale matters when you look at from the macro context, but you need to start from one point, and it starts with human.
How would you describe the challenges multiculturality brings? Also, what opportunities arise from this openness?
Of course, being connected to different communities, it has a challenge by itself because, as I said, if I was in Turkey, it would be another story for me because you feel more grounded in your homeland. That's true. But here also, being in Romania, how can I describe is like this. Being in Romania is not very different than being in Turkey for us because our cultures are very close to each other. We have many similarities. So from that point, of course, I have some challenges, but I feel more, let's say, grounded when I compare with the other countries. Yes, I'm exposed to different communities, but I see this as a not as a challenge, but as an opportunity because wherever I look at, I see a benchmark there. So since also professionally I'm doing this business, for example, I'm attending to an event or a part of a project in French community, I see something, I say, "Oh, that is great. Let's apply it in the other community." I see another thing and trying to involve people in the other community. And what I saw in these 3-4 years, I developed many skills. I'm more connected with the communities because I saw the potential of this synergy. I learned a lot, and now I can convince people better because I can show many examples. Of course, it has challenges because there is resistance. People are more comfortable in their comfort zone, of course. In order to change their point of view, it's not always easy, but it feeds me. I do really like it.
What advice do you have for the leaders working from various places, so multi-location, multi-cultural, to reach the desired results and beyond that?
I recommend them not to be isolated too much. For example, I see people, I see persons that even if they are in Romania, they are saying that, okay, I'm working from home. I feel very comfortable. It doesn't matter where I am. I can be on the other side of the world. So I'm in my room, I'm working, and that's it. When you put your, let's say, when you set your mindset in this way, you lose a lot of opportunities. I expect leaders, people, professionals, first of all, to understand the culture of where they are. Also in the NGO, this is what we are trying to do. In the NGO part, like in the business models, we started with a problem definition. I observed that there are families coming from Turkey to Romania, highly educated. I'm talking about particularly for women here, highly educated lawyers, teachers, engineers. But due to the context, in most of the cases, husbands work, but women stay at home. And when they keep themselves as isolated, they lose a lot of opportunities. So that is how we created the NGO. Now we are working under 3 pillars. First, we are giving the Romanian courses for these women. Until now, we educated more than 100 women for free, because the first barrier in front of you is the language. You can now say that, Dilek, but you are also doing this interview in English. Why you don't speak Romanian? But it's a process, to be honest.
We had some discussions in
In
Romanian,
Romanian, yeah,
as well.
thank you.
But it's usually more important to pass on the message than sticking to only one language.
Exactly. So there was a challenge there. Language integration, we found a solution. The second challenge was about social and cultural integration. You need to understand the cultural codes in order to feel a part of the country. So we are organizing a lot of events in order to make them involved. And the third one, which is very important, is the economical integration. In the association, we created an entrepreneurship program, a 9 months of program, and I should admit that I got inspired from the curriculum of our executive MBA program as well. And we are giving them the basics about how to open a business in Romania. So, what I can advise from this example to any professional or individual coming to another country or trying to do a business in a foreign culture, first to learn and understand about that culture. Because without this, you are isolated and it will not be sustainable.
Many people think about getting involved in the community, doing stuff, but it is very hard to start from somewhere. How did you start your involvement in this social cause?
As I said, since it was just after I quitted my job and finished the chapter in corporate life, I had time. So I had time and I needed to feel myself valuable, because, as I said, until you create your first value in your first entrepreneurship project, it takes time. And during that time, in order to feel myself grounded, I wanted to do something on the social side. And I experienced the same problems when I first came here. Of course, I was even afraid to communicate with the Romanian, because I didn't understand very well the language. So I had many barriers in my mind. So I said, if I experience this problem, if I know that the others also experience problem, in this case, there is a problem. So we have to find a solution. And I try to motivate the others in order to find solution together. But it's another, let's say, mindset, doing something on the social side, because all people, they work voluntarily. So it's a volunteering job, and keeping people motivated all the time, it is something. So at the end, the only motivation factor there is to create a value for the community. When you see a smile on somebody's face, okay, you say that this is my reward. Also, not only individually. For example, recently we are accepted to a project by European Commission. We were defining all our actions as valuable. Okay, we are doing good things, but being recognized by an institution, Also it gave us a very good feeling.
Coming back to DB Academy, can you tell us a bit more about the courses that you can find there? Maybe some success story from one of your clients?
The content there, in fact, there are almost 620 courses in the platform. And we are using Skillsoft content, which is one of the biggest content providers in the world. And one of my partners is Deloitte. They have their forensic and compliance content in the platform. And on the Skillsoft part, there are many trainings about soft skills. But also hard skills on finance, on management, project management, IT management side. And also I have partners focusing on some niche, let's say, trainings like tools for manufacturing industry, etc. So you can find, let's say, a very wide of trainings in the platform. But the good part of the platform is that if you say that I need X type of training, either we can find, or if you have the know-how within the organization, we can create it for you. So that is why I always define it in this way. I say that behave this DB Academy platform as your platform. It's your platform. Use it as you wish. If you want to create something from scratch, or if you ask us to create something, we can do it for you. A success story. Yeah, we had a company, a retail company, which had some problems about turnover, employee turnover, because they have many sales points all over Romania, and the salesperson's turnover rate was very high, and they didn't have a mechanism in order to monitor the process, because imagine on the other side of the country, when a salesperson leaves the let's say office there, in this case they had to redo all the trainings and everything for the newcoming person. And we applied there the DB Academy solution, and by doing so they integrated their journey to the platform, and they had a tool to monitor whole system. When somebody leaves the, let's say, organization, they could see from where to start when somebody replaces that person within the organization, or completely newcomer. So somehow it's a management tool at the beginning, and I think this is the best example that I can give. The others are, let's say, the usual ones who needed training and became a member and took the trainings.
How would you describe their approach towards L&D in their companies, and what do you think they should improve in their mindsets?
It depends a lot on the sector, what I observed here. For example, if you are talking about manufacturing sector, when you go to SMEs in that market, you see that company cultures are more traditional, and they are not very open to change it. And it doesn't matter which process you are talking about, including learning process, you need to convince them to change it into digital, because also in manufacturing companies, in SMEs, the employee turnover is not very high at management level, and people are somehow comfortable with the, let's say, methodologies they are using or the processes they are using for many years. So it is difficult to change the mindset. But if you go to IT sector, for example, a company working in IT, the mindset is completely different, because they are more familiar with working in the platforms. So it is easier to show the real value there to those people. So it has some challenges. What I recommend for the companies choosing the traditional way, I can say that the next generation is coming with completely different mindset. So they need to get prepared for this. But I should say that also the the industry changes very fast, also the training industry by itself. The technological changes with artificial intelligence, I don't think that in 10 years we will be talking about standard trainings. We will be talking about very personalized trainings according to the background of that person, according to the needs of that person, according to the need of the company. So it is a process of democratization of trainings. We are in that process. Even the AI tools that we are using today, you can train yourself there about any subject. So it is coming. So all the people, all the organizations, including myself, should be ready for this change.
What are the main points that you took when you realized this trend?
If I focus only on DB Academy side, I can say that, of course, all this adaptation needs investment. That is why also last year I sold half of the shares of my company to a training company in order to create synergies. And we will be, let's say, investing in developing the platform accordingly. But from personal point of view, what can I say is that I don't want to put all the eggs in one basket. That is why we are extending nowadays DB Academy into the DB Growth Hub as well, because nowadays the need of the companies also, it's not only on the digital side. Yes, just after the pandemic, there was a huge demand on the digital training. But with the AI tools, with the pandemic effects is not available anymore, we see that we are going back to hybrid way of doing things. Also working from home, you know that there are lots of companies taking decisions to go back to the offices. That is why I believe that there should be a blended approach. That is why we are supporting the process by delivering also the consultancy, because accessing to information will not be an issue anymore. It's about how you use that information. Training, to be trained about the subject will not be an issue, but the issue is that how you will use that information in order to create value within your organization. So that is why we are creating that consultancy approach in order to support companies during this transformation also period.
Where are you focusing on?
We start from strategy planning after the finance management part, including the project financing and all the finance processes, and of course operational efficiency, and learning and management naturally by DB Academy. So this is the let's say process that we are focusing on, and the short-term approach of this DB Growth Hub is to help companies, especially coming from other countries, to invest in Romania. So that is why it is an end-to-end approach, starting from strategic planning, like entering to a new market, till you are operational and operating effectively. So this is the, let's say, part we are focusing on.
You mentioned before that you also took a hard decision in the life of an entrepreneur, that is opening the door and inviting to the table a new person. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience. Can you tell them how it was for you, how you took the decision?
As I said, if it is a mindset change. When you are an entrepreneur, you are the only engine of everything. So first of all, you need to be aware of this, and don't feel unmotivated, and do whatever, let's say, it costs to keep yourself motivated. I explained you. I did many things just to keep myself motivated. And after, I think the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs is to gain credibility. Because in corporate environment, you have a credibility by nature. Somehow you are carrying the brand of the company that you are working in. But when you are outside, yes, you can show the references, but still, especially if it is your first project, you don't have other examples to show people, and you need to convince others about the value you are creating with your project. this is the challenging part. That is why also I was very motivated with this platform way of working, because I should admit that the brands like Deloitte, for example, I started the project with Deloitte, helped me a lot in order from a brand image point of view. When I visited a company, I was I'm still telling that I'm working with Deloitte. So it gave me the credibility. This, in the same way, with Bucharest Business School also, I have a partnership with Bucharest Business School as well. And we are doing some projects, and it gives me a credibility, of course. So they need to find ways in order to, let's say, overcome such kind of challenges.
What is the project you are most proud of?
Of course, I'm very proud of DB Academy because it's my first project. But I can say that I think the social part, I mean the association that we achieved, I'm very proud of that part because it's we created something from scratch and nobody asked for it. We don't have any direct gains from this initiative, but it grew very fast in 2 years. That is why I'm very proud of it. I think this is the one.
What would be your advice to someone that is considering going to another country to start a new business?
Here, of course, there are different cases. I will give an example from my experience. Imagine that you have a project in a country and you want to start the same business in another country. The biggest mistake is to assume that the value proposition you created in one environment will be valid for the other environment. So this is an illusion. First of all, I recommend people, companies, is to do a market analysis in a very detailed way and in an analytic way, not just Googling. You need to go deep inside to understand the dynamics of the market and the macro context of the country as well. Imagine that you want to extend your business to Middle East. Now we know the situation, for example. You don't have visibility. So are you okay to take the risks or not? You have to decide this. Or you are going to another part of the world. You are extending to US, for example. Are you aware of the, let's say, factors changing there? Are you open to take these risks? These should be evaluated in a very scientific way. This is first of all what I recommend. And sometimes companies, they have also this illusion of, okay, I have a value proposition because I'm selling to a lot of people in my, let's say, environment, and it will be the same in the other countries. No, there can be different competitors. The behavior of the buyers can be different. So this should be, value propositions should be worked in a very detailed way as well. So that is why it is like creating something from scratch. They need to know how to unlearn. I really like this term. Sometimes we need to know how to unlearn and start from scratch. But of course, as I said, doing a business in another country cannot be succeeded if you do not have local contacts, local collaborations. For example, me, what I did, I tried to have a lot of connections, local connections with Romanian institutions, Romanian companies, because you cannot keep yourself isolated and still try to survive in a country. This is what I can recommend.
What do you think it was your personal competitive advantage in your success in Romania until now?
Hard question. I think somehow I have a strong technical background. So I'm an industrial engineer, and I worked in my homeland in different sectors. So it gave me the basis, let's say the base, to have confidence in myself, at least from technical point of view. And I think from cultural point of view, I like being in new environments. I like exploring new things, and I enjoy the experience. Sometimes I meet with some people and discussing about the experience in a foreign country. They say that they mention about this experience like a pain. For me, it's not a pain. It's a learning process for me, and every day I feel myself growing. That is why I think this initial, let's say, the feeling coming from inside, the personality of me, helped me to survive better here in Romania.
How do you learn?
How I learn? Very good question. Because learning how to learn is an issue also. I know. Um, if you asked me this question maybe 5 years ago, I think I would answer in a different way because the technological, let's say, developments in the recent period changed a lot the way we learn. Normally, I'm curious. So we are talking about something, and I directly go to the, let's say, books, or let's say research in order to understand better. Because as you understood, uh, I like I like understanding the methodology and everything behind the concept. So this is how my mind works. But nowadays,
Like an engineer.
because I'm an engineer. But nowadays, I think it's changing. For example, I observe myself that I read the number of hours that I'm reading books. It's less compared to 5 years ago. So seems like we are learning somehow, also being exposed to some information, and in some of the cases, it's not intentionally. So we are learning from others because we are connected to many people. Also, this is what I say for the MBA program. People, of course, they are asking me, Dilek, do you recommend us to go to an MBA program? So what do you recommend? I say, okay, it's a very good program. You learn a lot from theoretical point of view, but you learn from the others. You need to take advantage of that community you are in. So I think in the last 5 years, with all these entrepreneurship, being connected to different communities, I feel myself that I learn more from the others, not theoretically anymore, but these interactions and the different point of views feed me more.
And also, those we surround ourselves with have a significant impact into our mindsets and how we perceive the world. What is your favorite book?
My favorite book. I have many favorite books, but within this frame, let's say, I can say that The Fifth Discipline, it is my favorite book. I read this book, I think 20 years ago or even more. But it completely changed my, let's say, mindset because the fifth discipline book, it says that the fifth discipline is the systems thinking. You need to behave organizations as learning bodies. And when you give a character to an organization, at that point, you start to understand the interaction between the factors in this, let's say, environment. And this systems thinking approach, it gave me a lot of insights about how to lead teams, how to analyze the situations. When you face with a problem, if you have this systems thinking approach, you know very well that you shouldn't be focusing on symptoms. You need to be aware of the interactions of different factors and to have a broader point of view to analyze the situation. And I think it helped me to have a strategic thinking from this point of view. And I strongly recommend that book.
We addressed a lot multiculturalism, but what advice would you give to women leaders? to get ahead in their careers?
I'm a person working on the social side for women actively. So why I say this? Because let's say in business life, we face with many challenges. Me also, I faced with many challenges, just because of the fact that I'm a woman. Of course, we all, let's say, experience this. But when you face a situation and if you define this as an obstacle, at that point it becomes an obstacle. Don't define it as an obstacle. It is a challenge like the other challenges. And try to adapt yourself by taking some decisions, acting strategically, smartly, whatever it requires, like the other challenges. But when you say it is an obstacle, you put it like a barrier in front of you in your mind. In this case, you give a personality to that, let's say, situation, and you start to create some counteractions. And these counteractions also result in blaming others, the outer factors. That is why we should avoid this. Of course, there will be a lot of resistance. We are experiencing a lot of, let's say, problems in IT sector. Let's say the percentage of women among the entrepreneurs, the percentage of women, it's quite low. Why? So these are, let's say, complex problems that, like I mentioned to you, we should be aware of the fact that we will have this fact, but it doesn't mean that we accept this. No, it's not acceptance. Being aware of it, but don't think this as an obstacle. Take actions, act smartly, develop yourself continuously. This is what I recommend.
So nicely said. Indeed, most of the challenges that we have are usually grown by our minds. But if we keep in mind that every challenge is actually an opportunity we need to explore, then we can only succeed. I have one more question. You mentioned that you give a lot of advice to others related to the BBS program. What advice do you have to leaders or entrepreneurs related to taking on an MBA program, and why should they do it when in their career?
If you are talking about executive MBA, I think they need to have at least 10 years of, let's say, managerial experience. Because what is different? What is the difference between an MBA program and executive MBA program is the approach and the cases that you are talking. And as I said, you are learning more from the others, and it is a unique opportunity to be exposed to different point of views of different high level of managers. So that is why let's say, first of all, I recommend them to participate in MBA programs at the right moment in their life. And also, I advise them not to participate in such kind of a program just for the diploma. Because the MBA, it's for sure that it's an etiquette, so it's like a label, and it helps us in the professional life. But if you, let's say, dilute the meaning of it just as a diploma, you don't learn and you don't really get the value of this experience. And for the entrepreneurs, as I said, I really recommend them that they behave this, let's say, MBA program as a lab to test their ideas, to test their projects. Whenever they have a project, if they have an idea in their minds, they can apply and test and ask to the others. Because in real life, you will not get an opportunity to have that much of different point of views about a project. I asked and I took a lot of advices from my cohort friends during the MBA program.
Thank you, Dilek, for the wonderful conversation. Do you have a message for our audience?
First of all, thank you very much again for this opportunity. I really enjoyed the conversation, for the questions, and also thank you, Maria. I would like to tell the audience that if you want to be an entrepreneur, doesn't matter in business or a social area, don't hesitate to do this, because if you wait for the right moment, the perfect moment, it is better to say the perfect moment to come, it will never come. So just show the courage, and of course, doing a proper risk analysis. Start your project. I'm sure you will succeed.
Thank you also for watching our podcast today. We thank Intercontinental Atene Palace Bucharest for hosting the Expert Hour. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned with our next episodes. Until next time, Maria Ionescu.